I'm worried because today's conversation is one of those things. We obviously have to do quite a lot of research before we,
Yeah.
have these shows. And the more I read, the more afraid I became. This hypertension thing is crazy. It's crazy. I mean, very soon, a quarter of our population will be diagnosed with it.
You don't say.
Yeah, every year, 600,000 more people are diagnosed. Every year. And our population, it grows by about how many every year?
This is scary.
Uh-huh. So you just think about the maths. And the most troubling part of it is that when you have hypertension, you don't feel pain.
Yeah.
So the risk of you not taking your medication seriously is very high.
So there are so many people walking around who could be hypertensive, but they don't know about it. I'm just reading that, for instance, high blood pressure often has no symptoms. So
Yeah, you don't feel anything, right? And even worse, here in Ghana, those who have been diagnosed with it are still not taking medicine for it.
why?
It's expensive.
Ah,
Plus, nobody really likes taking medicine. So if you can make up an excuse for yourself not to take it, you will. And that's what people are doing. Only 30% of those who have been diagnosed take their medicine.
wow.
So you think about it. Think about the ticking time. You see, when you have hypertension, what it means is that something has caused the vessels, through which your blood flows, to be thinner. That thing is usually cholesterol. Okay. So the space through which the blood can flow has been reduced. So the blood is flowing with much more force. It's like, you think about a water hose, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. When you just switch on the tap and the water is flowing out of the hose, it flows normally. But if you block half of the exit,
Yeah.
then the force of it becomes stronger. So that stronger force is coursing through your veins, spoiling things. Right?
Wow.
Particularly your heart.
And that could result in a heart disease or stroke.
Indeed. Stroke is my concern because I think we all know somebody who has died of stroke recently. All of us. Whomever you are right now listening, just think about the people you know who have died recently. Stroke, meboa. All right. What that means is that nobody is safe. Nobody is safe. If you are walking around today thinking, well, I don't have hypertension, are you sure?
Go check your blood pressure.
Are you sure? So today, look, this is one of those conversations. If it wasn't for the fact that I am so concerned and I care so much and I don't want people to die, and I would have avoided this one because it's scary.
Well, it's good we are highlighting it because, like we pointed out, there are so many people walking around who don't even know.
Yeah. I have hypertension. I have diabetes and hypertension. So double risk for me.
Charlie.
So imagine if I was playing with my medication. Imagine if I was, I'm working on the sleeping enough part. But all these things create risk, and particularly among younger people who are getting these strokes. Right? All these things increase your risk.
Younger people.
Charlie. Today, it's a life-saving mission. I just want everybody, whatever you are doing today, include listening to this show. Include it. Just put it on in the background while you're doing whatever you're doing. Because you are going to hear something that just might save your life or the life of someone you care about.
Your health matters.
It matters. I need you here. I need you here to keep listening to us. I need you here to keep growing your nation, keep looking after your family, to keep working at your business and making it grow. I need you here because without you, this place sucks. So I beg today, listen. Kwawu, we are still grateful.
I see you're very passionate about this today.
The thing bothers me.
Yeah.
It bothers me. I'm just as worried about those who don't know they have it as I am about those who know but are not taking their medicine.
Taking medication because it's expensive.
Hey. There are other reasons why people don't like their medication, especially the men. There are reports that it affects your libido. Yeah, I mean, you think it's funny because you there right now,
But choose life.
rampant rabbit. But Charlie,
Choose life.
choose life. Pro-life people no get libido. Yeah,
Wow.
but I mean, it's true. Look, people are not taking their medication because for many reasons, and that is one of them. So today, listen, we're going to help you. We're going to help you.
Mm.
We're going to help you understand how you can live a good quality life and not allow this insidious killer to end it unexpectedly.
Great stuff.
All right. Let's be grateful. Let's be grateful. For the 6 a.m. news, we give our thanks to Total Energies. Total, we go the extra mile for you. Absa Bank Ghana Limited, helping you find a way to get things done. And Millennium Insurance, your trustworthy partner. It's time now for the Joy Business Report, and that comes to you thanks to Glyco Life Travel Insurance. Glyco, we cushion you for life.
Hi, good morning. Welcome to the Joy Business Report. Coming up, IMF board set to consider Ghana's program today as it is set to publish details of program request after probable board approval. Meanwhile, former Finance Minister Seteke predicts tough IMF conditionalities that could tie the hands of the next government post-2024 elections. And Ghana did not have the resilience to withstand the shocks emanating from the COVID-19 pandemic as well as the Russia-Ukraine war. We'll hear from a renowned accounting professor. Stay with us. My name is Daryl. Kwawu. Thanks for being with us this morning. First up, the executive board of the IMF is expected to sit and review Ghana's program request for a $3 billion bailout. The board is undertaking this exercise after the country met all the preconditions as well as securing finance and assurance from members of the G20 Common Framework. Meanwhile, the fund will publish full details of Ghana's economic recovery program once approval is given. It will also outline the necessary conditions associated with the program as well as the staff report on Ghana. Minister of State at the Finance Ministry, Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam, disclosed this on PM Express Business Edition, which airs on Thursday.
We are committed to transparency. As a result of this, the government has instructed the IMF to publish all the documents. Once the approval has been given, the IMF must be publishing the documents. So all the documents are going to be available for the public to continue to scrutinize and also to help with monitoring. Public scrutiny is important because we are supposed to implement a number of measures, and to the extent that the public know what those measures are, and then they are asking all the critical questions as to how we are performing.
You had Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam, Minister of State at the Finance Ministry, speaking on PM Express Business Edition, which airs tomorrow, Thursday. Now, former Finance Minister Seteke says the next government that takes over from President Akufo-Addo could be compelled to undertake strict IMF conditionalities post-2024 elections. According to him, such conditionalities will determine the flow of funds that will come in tranches from the IMF. Speaking to Joy Business, Mr. Seteke said even though such conditionalities will tie the hands of the next government, it must be followed through before funds are released by the Bretton Woods institution to bring the economy back on track.
Depending on the outcome of the elections, this program is going to be continued. This will be the second time that our programs have strapped, overlapped, election years. And so depending on who wins, that government is going to continue, even if it's a new phase. Definitely, releases are going to be based on performance. And that's the essence of reviews. You remember the Deputy Minister also mentioned there will be about 6 reviews. These are constant. We had about 6-7 reviews, under the last ECF. And this is a conventional, so to repeat, this is a conventional IMF, agreement.
Seth Tekwe is a former finance minister. Director of the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research, Professor Peter Korte, is hopeful Ghana's reserves will improve in the coming days when the International Monetary Fund program kicks off. According to him, offshore investors would be interested in investing in more productive sectors of the economy to facilitate its expansion.
Once the IMF program comes on board, we are likely to see more other donors coming on board. We are likely to see other inflows. So it might minimize forex shortages on the market. But more importantly, the IMF program, apart from bringing credibility, would ensure that we have fiscal discipline. That is what we lack in this country. So if we have fiscal discipline, our revenue and our expenditure are matched accurately. I believe certainly that we will minimize the exchange rate, the rapid depreciation in the exchange rate. Will also minimize the shortage of our reserve, the reduction in our reserves.
Professor Peter Korte, Director of the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research. Now, renowned accounting professor Noel Tego has said that Ghana did not have the resilience to withstand the shocks emanating from the COVID-19 pandemic as well as the Russia-Ukraine war. This led the country to seek an IMF support program. He's therefore calling for both the government and the central bank to learn lessons from this, adding there is the need to build robustness to survive during any economic hiccup. Speaking at the Chartered Institute of Bankers Thought Leadership Program, he called for strengthening of risk governance systems, credit management within the banking system to endure any economic crisis.
And I think that the key issue again is ensuring that individual organizations and banks manage themselves in a way that they create space that will make them robustly resilient to some of the things that have come that hit them, and that has been demonstrated to some extent. And 2013 first quarter results shows that there is some journey towards recovery. How strong and how embedded that recovery will be, we'll be looking at. So Dr. Ahmad already talked about the things that need strengthening.
Meantime, the Ghana Association of Banks has emphasized that banks hold the key to the country's economic recovery post IMF support program. It is therefore calling for case studies into what caused Ghana's return to the fund, the response of the financial markets, amongst others, for future analysis. Now, here is Chief Executive John Ewa, who says banks must pursue effective risk management and governance policies to ensure the industry is safe and sound.
Clearly, from the get-go, the regulator's importance has been highlighted. The regulator providing some market assurance is something that, as an industry, we will need to sustain confidence and trust. And the governor of the Bank of Ghana, throughout the process, did very well in taking the market along and telling the industry, banking practitioners, and also the general public that they will do everything to ensure that all banks stay afloat.
You had John Ewa, who is Chief Executive of the Ghana Association of Banks. Moving on to other news, 3 business managers were arrested by the enforcement unit of the Ghana Revenue Authority for failing to issue VAT invoices. The 3 managers of Shezami, Waves Lounge and Grand Pacific were handed over to the Criminal Investigations Department. Here's more in this report.
The 93 culprits were identified after they failed to issue the invoice in a text purchase exercise conducted by the investigation team of the Ghana Revenue Authority. According to Commissioner of Domestic Tax Division, Edward Jamra, the exercise will continue until all the 93 are arrested and made to face the law.
We are going to arrest all these taxpayers who fail to comply, who fail to issue the required invoices, will be arrested and prosecuted. They will be dealt with in line with the provisions of our tax law.
Managers of Shezami, Wave Lounge in East Legon and Grand Pacific at Jolo Junction were arrested. They will help with investigation and face possible prosecution. Here is head of the Accra Area Enforcement Unit of the GRA, Joseph Annan.
Shezamis, they are not registered. The owner tells us she's in the process. From there, we went to WIPS. They are registered. They are doing selective issuance of the invoice because we saw some of our invoices there. We came to Grand Pacific and the offense is the same. They are not issuing the invoice.
At the Airport Terminal 3 departure, the team was prevented entry to arrest some 10 shop owners who failed to issue invoices.
The Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana (COPEC) has welcomed the 10% reduction in transport fares by the operators effective today, May 17. This follows a drop in the prices of petroleum products at the pumps. According to the Chamber, the move would bring some respite to consumers. Here's Executive Secretary Duncan Amwa.
You would want cost of living generally to decline in country. And so if you've seen a situation, I'm sure that the drivers have been very kind and generous to all of us. It is welcoming, and I would personally want to commend the leadership of the driver union for this timely intervention to also ensure that cost of living, like we've always been advocating for, gets to decline so that inflationary pressures could decline and Ghanaians could breathe a little bit after such steep increases in prices over a sustained period.
Executive Secretary of COPEC Duncan Amwa. The global chocolate industry is worth over $150 billion. West Africa supplies 70% of the cocoa beans, but most of the value in a chocolate bar is generated in Europe and North America. West African economies receive less than $6 billion, and this is despite a growing demand for consumer chocolate in West Africa, some of which is satisfied through imports. It was motivation for the establishment of Fair Afri Ghana, and the second part of our feature on the chocolate manufacturer airs today on the Joy Business Van. Take a listen. It was not only the monies the country could generate from adding value to cocoa that was a motivation, but improving the livelihoods of the farmers involved in this lucrative business, many of whom are still poor.
So we're like, no, we would want to use our influence to change the socio-economic conditions of these people by creating value right in origin. And so connecting what has been the challenges that we've seen with adding value and thinking of how to turn around things brought us to Suhum, for example, to start this drink.
According to statistics, 73 to 90% of cocoa farming households do not reach the level of a living income. The story is no different in Suhum. All right, we're in Suhum this afternoon for the full story. 1 p.m. on the Joy Business Report, 5 p.m. on Business Live on the Joy News channel. Don't miss it. Let's check the commodity market as we wrap up. Crude oil dropped marginally to open trading at $74 a barrel this morning. Gold selling at $1,990 an ounce after going up from yesterday's trading. Cocoa also gained $15, opening trading this morning at $2,995 a ton. More news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. But before we go, the currency market, quick update. The cedi gaining grounds, selling at sorry, Kujo. Selling at 11 cedis 75 pesos to the dollar on the forex or retail market. The pound going for 14 cedis 80 pesos, and the euro going for 12 cedis 80 pesos. I feel so bad, especially when we are talking about hypertension today. All right, that's the job.